Children are identified as gifted when their ability is significantly above the norm for their age. But being identified as gifted is more than just getting higher grades than the rest of the class. Giftedness can manifest in different domains. Today, I'm going to be talking to you about creatively gifted students. But first, let's take a look at some of the characteristics of creatively gifted students. The creatively gifted child thinks independently. They don't need much structure in order to brainstorm. The creatively gifted child tells or writes original stories, and they're probably very detailed. He comes up with multiple innovative solutions to problems. Some of these might even be somewhat bizarre or even silly. The creatively gifted child also has a great sense of humor and might find humor in things that others don't. The creatively gifted child is inventive and imaginative and has the ability to create new ideas or products. The creatively gifted child also has a talent for improvisation. The creatively gifted child enjoys being different, but may still be emotionally hurt by non-acceptance. The creatively gifted child can be seen as inattentive and sometimes get lost in their own ideas. They may ask a lot of questions and even challenge teachers or authors. And finally, the creatively gifted child can be a risk taker. Dr. Bertie Kingor is a leading authority in the field of gifted and talented. She has written 27 books, including a series that offers instructional methods for adding engagement and rigor for gifted learners. In one of her articles, she compared the characteristics of 3 different students: a high achiever, a gifted learner, and a creative thinker. I really liked this comparison because it gives a clear understanding of the creatively gifted student. So I've included a few of the comparisons that she did. I've included a few of those on the next couple slides. So the high achiever works hard to achieve, while the gifted learner knows without working hard. But the creative thinker plays with ideas and concepts. A high achiever is interested. A gifted learner is curious, and a creative thinker wonders. A high achiever performs at the top of the group. A gifted learner is beyond the group, and a creative thinker is in its own group. A high achiever learns with ease. A gifted learner already knows, and a creative thinker questions what if. A high achiever is pleased with its own learning, but a gifted learner is self-critical, and a creative thinker is never finished with possibilities. And finally, a high achiever gets A's, while the gifted learner and creative thinker may not be motivated by the grades. Not all creatively gifted children will exhibit all of the characteristics that I talked about. Creatively gifted children may be as different from each other as they are from average children. So this makes it very hard to identify creatively gifted students. So how do you identify creatively gifted children? Standardized tests are not designed for out-of-the-box thinkers. Consider this example. When students are taking a multiple choice standardized test, a high achiever will go through the test asking himself which answer is correct. A cognitively gifted child might stop at a question and think that both choice A and B are correct, because if blank happened, then B would be correct. They can see the right answer and know how to justify either choice. But the creatively gifted student will come up with an answer that might not even be there. They'll say to themselves, what about blank? That choice isn't on here. So there isn't a magical test that is used to identify creatively gifted children, but there is a Torrance test of creative thinking, or TTCT. In this test, it's designed to identify and evaluate creative potential. And it's very different from any intelligence test or any reasoning test. It involves more ambiguous concepts. So students don't learn the content that is tested. The Appleton Area School District uses the figural TTCT to assess for creativity. In this form, 3 picture-based exercises are used to assess creative characteristics. The test measures creative skills such as fluency, originality, abstractedness of titles, and elaboration. So it provides somewhat of a standardized score for creative strengths. A high score on the Torrance increases the likelihood for creative giftedness. The test is administered in the schools and then is sent in for scoring to be scored by the trained professionals. So once a child is identified as creatively gifted, there is much that an educator can do. When educators are pulling together assignments or deciding on educational direction for a creatively gifted child, by offering opportunity to take intellectual risks, you are encouraging their creativity. For example, you could offer them flexibility in how they demonstrate their knowledge. You could ask them to decide on questions they want to explore, leave it up to them. You could also provide open-ended problem-solving scenarios to really allow them to do the thinking. Educators should also nurture both the convergent and divergent thinking skills. Convergent thinking skills is when a child pulls ideas and resources from a variety of sources in order to solve a problem, while divergent thinking is when a child takes an idea and comes up with many different solutions or scenarios that fit it. Educators can nurture these skills by offering more open-ended questions and problems, and offering opportunities to be curious, to just ask questions and wonder. And they can also encourage them to face wrong answers. And to teach them how this is the opportunity to learn. Another thing that educators can do is to embrace micro moments. These short, little, unexpected moments that creativity can be nurtured. A lot of times teachers think that creative enhancements have to be something big and elaborate, an extracurricular activity for the kids to do. But looking at these micro moments, we can embrace these surprising little moments of creativity. These creative micro moments are brief, maybe surprising moments of creative potential that pop up during everyday routines. And teachers have to be willing to explore ideas that might arise during these micro moments. By encouraging and exploring these unexpected ideas, it can lead to development of creative potential. And by providing meaningful feedback to these creative comments, it can be extremely nurturing to the creatively gifted child. I believe that it is extremely important to recognize creatively gifted students and for educators to know how they can support creatively gifted children.